Hi everyone, how you all doing? Welcome to the Bay Arena here in Leverkusen. Just a short hop along from Cologne, where we are for Newcastle's open training session ahead of tomorrow's match against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. I have to say, I've just been in the press conference and I have to say it's a very, very relaxed camp. Both Eddie Howe and Nick Woltemade up to speak. Of course, Woltemade making his first return to Germany on league business, on Newcastle business, should I say, since of course signing for £69 million in the summer from Stuttgart. And there's lots of funny moments in his press conference today. It was kind of teed up by Eddie Howe, who in his press conference just beforehand said that Nick's a very funny guy. He's had half an hour with him on the flight on the way over, tapping into his knowledge with regards to the Bundesliga and German football, and just basically says he's a funny guy, always telling jokes, and everyone likes him. So we asked Nick Woltemade, didn't we, for some jokes. Didn't have any, but then went on to tell some funny stories and told us things that are going on. And probably the funniest was the fact he's still looking for a girlfriend. Of course, a lot was made about that, and he said, "Why do people keep asking me this? Why do people keep asking me about this? It's getting out of hand." But of course, when he arrived at Newcastle, he was single. His mate came with him, and he was trying to find the right word. And someone shouted, "Wingman," and he said, "Yeah, wingman." So he brought his mate over with him when he first signed for Newcastle on that club record transfer in summer, and his mate's still living with him. So he said he's not had a chance to go out and meet anyone, but by all accounts, absolutely loving life in Newcastle. He was asked about the comments from Bayern Munich. I think it was maybe the sporting director or president who laughed at the price tag, and he said, "Look, it makes no difference to me. Anyone can pay whatever they want from me, and I'm just happy it was Newcastle who paid that money." Talked about how much he's loving life in Newcastle. Said it was the right decision to move there, and it's just been Eddie Howe said he's a breath of fresh air. He's such a funny guy, and everyone loves him. And he just talked about how much he's kind of fallen in love with the city and fallen in love with the North East, and how much he's excited by the derby at the weekend. But of course, he's got to play here first against Leverkusen tomorrow night. Just a quick look around the stadium. There you go. I have to say, there's not much going on round about here. Cologne was pretty good, nice looking around that place earlier on today. I was there last night, but this is just kind of middle of nowhere, really. I don't know, it's a bit like going into sort of an industrial town with not much going on. Incredible to think this, was a stadium that won the title just 2 years ago. Nothing wrong with the stadium, but just incredible to think what went on here just 2 years ago when, of course, Granit Xhaka was playing for Leverkusen, of course, up against Newcastle on Sunday in the derby. But just incredible to think what this club achieved, and I think they're still riding the wave from that. Of course, beating Manchester City away at the Etihad a couple of weeks ago in the Champions League 2-0. So it was nice to hear from Nick. He was obviously, it was good for him to be back, and he was very, very chilled. He said as much as he's not met a girl yet, he's not managed to meet anyone. He's really looking forward to striking up a relationship with Johan Wissa, who of course is back and in the squad and has travelled over here for this match tomorrow night. So interesting stuff, I have to say, from Eddie today as well, from Eddie Howe, because I asked him what his plans are with regards to fielding a team with the derby on the horizon at the weekend. He said he will play in what he deems his strongest side for this match here in Leverkusen tomorrow night. And he said there's no point in me sort of resting, and he goes, I'll try and rotate a little bit. He said, but for players to be fit, they just need to keep playing. They need to keep playing. Whether it's 20 minutes, half an hour, 90 minutes, I need to keep them playing, and that's the best way for them to be fit for all the upcoming games. So look, I think there's probably one eye on the match on Sunday. It's a weird situation having this. Of course, Sunderland have got the whole week to prepare. You guys don't. But the whole plans for the week have just been changed slightly after the Marseille Marseille trip a couple of weeks ago. Eddie decided, rather than give the players a day off the next day, decided to get them in the afternoon. They did an afternoon session and then had the next day off before coming back in on the Friday ahead of the trip to Everton. And he said to me, it kind of like stretched the week out a little bit, elongated the week, and made the players feel like they kind of had more time at home. So he decided to do the same again. So they fly back straight after the game tomorrow night. They'll be in on Thursday afternoon, off Friday, train Saturday, game against Sunderland on Sunday. Of course, the first Premier League derby between the sides in 9 years, something like that. Pretty incredible. Where is time going? But yeah, look, without doubt, there is a bit of not one eye on that. Of course, they'll be concentrating on tomorrow night, but it's hard to ignore the fact there's a derby round the corner. Eddie Howe knows how important it would be to get a result in that game. What would be a good result? I've been speaking to a lot of Newcastle fans on the journey over here, and then last night, I'll put it out there now. I think a draw would be a good result. It's a really hard place to go. I've been there a number of times this season. It reminds me a lot of when the Newcastle takeover went through. And of course, it was such an amazing event. And then after that, the fans you guys got so behind the team, and the atmosphere, you were almost like the 12th man at times. And I think you saw the team over the line in many games. It feels like that when I go to the Stadium of Light. Not what you guys want to hear, I know, but every game is like an event, an occasion. And I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. And, I've got a feeling you'll get a result here tomorrow night. And then, I think if you were to get a draw on Sunday, it'd be a good result. I will say that. I know it's probably not what you want to hear, but, I think 4 points from this week would be a phenomenal return. 4 points. I'm making it sound like it's all in the one league, but a win here, 3 points in the Champions League, all but qualified, and in a draw on Sunday, I think would be a great result. Maybe even the other way around, but I've got a feeling you're going to come here and do something tomorrow night. I've got a feeling you're going to get a result. Just the camp feels relaxed, sounds relaxed, and I think it's a good place to be despite recent results and that kind of bit of mental fragility that's floating around the place at the moment. Of course, another game on Saturday should I say, when of course Newcastle were in front 2-0 up at half time, up against 10 men, lose the second half 1-0 and you lose the game. Not ideal, I know, but yeah, it's just a little mental fragility that's just sort of surfacing at the moment, and hopefully just playing in the Champions League away for that will change things here tomorrow night, although that wasn't the case in against Marseille. Now Eddie said he's got a full squad to pick from. He says a little bit concerned over asking Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall to keep playing. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the two of them, because if Tino starts tomorrow, he'll definitely start the derby if he's fit. He started last weekend, he started in Marseille. It's a lot of games to ask a guy to play who's of course been out with an injury for some time. I've just got a feeling the way he's talking there, there's a chance he might be rested for this one tomorrow night. Obviously, there's no Emil Kraft, there's no Kieran Trippier. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lewis Miley play in that position. Now you probably saw, I know speaking about Woltemade a lot at the start, you probably saw my title there, talking about being the wingman and being back in Germany. I was in a German sports shop earlier, walked in, and who did I see? Nick Woltemade there on the wall, just like there for everyone to see, front and centre of the campaign, and just someone who the German fans are hanging their hat on, someone that they see the German side playing around moving forward. And it was interesting to see that he's obviously such a star here already. Of course, he's pretty much playing centre forward for Germany in the international games, and what an opportunity it is for him to come and remind them just how good he is. Not that he needs to, because he's obviously got his place in that international lineup, but yeah, just good feeling about this one tonight, I have to say. A couple of the lads reminded me earlier that the last Congolese player to score here, of course, was Lua back in about 2003. It'll be really good if Johan Wissa can follow that up tomorrow. I'd expect him to get another run out tomorrow night, whether it's 15-20 minutes as he builds up his fitness. Yeah, that's it. So here we are, here for some training. I've floated a few of those pictures for you to have a look at. And yeah, I hope you all have a great time, those of you that are over here in either Cologne or Dusseldorf this evening. Okay guys, speak soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.